It wouldn't be a CompTIA examination if the test objectives didn't cover a couple of things that I consider rare and weird. So I'm going to dump them together in this episode real quick just so we can knock them out so that we know what to say on the exam itself. The two technologies I want to talk about are ISDN and BPL. ISDN stands for Integrated Services Digital Network, and it's a very old way that we used to use to make what we called last mile dial-up connections. ISDN is unique in that it's digital, number one, and that it also has a telephone number associated with it. So you could actually use a telephone number and you could call between ISDN devices. Keep in mind, with all the other WAN technologies we've discussed, there is no telephone number. It's either connected or it's not connected. So ISDN is kind of interesting. It ran at a whopping, well, there actually was a 64K version, which very few people used, but for the most part, it ran at 128K, which sounds awfully slow, but considering the time period that it was developed, this is actually in some ways predating dial-up. It was running twice as fast as our regular dial-up modems, so it was pretty cool. Whoa, 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 Mike. When I say ISDN precedes dial-up, I mean ISDN precedes dial-up networking, connecting to the internet. Dial-up came before ISDN. The nice part about ISDN being fully digital, there was no modems to deal with. They just connected and life was great. You used a device called a terminal adapter. I don't have one anymore, so here's a picture. This is a terminal adapter, and this would be sitting in your home or your office, and you would simply plug in your phones into this. And by the way, you couldn't use regular phones. They had to be what were known as ISDN phones. You'd plug your phones into this, and then you would be connected through your phone line out to the rest of the world. So it worked great for voice, and it worked really well for data as well. One of the reasons I don't like to talk about ISDN anymore is because I've always felt it was dead. And every 3 years, CompTIA updates these exams, and I was begging them to take ISDN off the exam, only to be swamped by hundreds of calls from people all over the world who use ISDN heavily. Who'd have thunk it? But it's out there, and make sure you know about ISDN. The other technology I want to make a quick mention of is BPL. BPL stands for Broadband over Power Lines, and it's a technology that's it's been tried in a number of different ways, and it's never been really successful. There's a few successful rollouts in a few isolated areas, but in general, it's never taken off. BPL is very simple. It means using power lines, the power line network, to support not only the electricity that you need every day, but to give you internet as well. The challenge with BPL is that because you're running electricity over the same lines, interference and also just the outright danger of working with this interface to scrape off whatever your signal was, you could get electrocuted. But I mean, they did a pretty good job with it, but the bottom line is it never really took off. For the exam, the things I want you to know is that ISDN is an older technology, it's digital, ran at 128K, and even though I use past tense, a lot of people still use it, and then BPL simply means to be using broadband over a power line itself. So to the 3 people who are still using BPL, I apologize. To the rest of us, moving on.